each other for quite some time, and
Yeah.
like, you know, I've seen you work, I've seen you do your thing, and lately it seems like you're spending a lot of time on this real estate fund, on this Cardone Capital.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of time. Every time I turn you on, you're talking real estate. You got the whiteboard, you're teaching people, and you're fired up like I've never seen. Why so much?
Well, you know, when I get fired up, I get fired
Yeah,
up.
but what's going on with Cardone Capital Management?
Because I have a chance to actually put people in a vehicle that can accelerate the real estate game for them. You know, like we started doing a show. Every Monday we do a show at Grant Cardone TV in Miami about how to invest in real estate. So I'm like, look, there's 4 ways to do the deal. I go over the 4 ways. At the end of every show, what we were hearing from people was either I don't have enough money to start, I'm going to buy 2 units or 4 units or 8 units.
Which
and I'm
is
like,
too few.
I'm like, yeah, do the math. There is no money to be made. Okay? So like if your first deal in real estate is going to be 8 units or 2 units or a single family, you're going to get busted. You're going to lose money. And so my wife and I would keep, and then, you know, in the show I start talking about the retirement funds being a scam and the REITs being a scam. And, you know, I bash on everybody in Atlanta. It's like, you can't bash on people if you're not going to provide a solution. So we created Cardone Capital. So guys like you, it was really targeted for a guy like you that's got a great business, wants to get a second thing going, but you don't have the time, the energy. You might have the money, but you don't have the time, the energy, the resources, or the deals.
Or the know-how.
Yeah. And because we got so many people saying, I'm going to go do 16 units, I'm going to put 800 grand into it. And I'm like, dude, it's the wrong deal. It's the wrong deal.
See, how do you know what deal's the right deal? See, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Like when I started watching your programming, your real estate promotions, I'm like, so I know what this guy's doing. He's going out and he's buying an apartment building. The rent basically pays for the mortgage. The rest of it's cash flow, and is obviously that makes sense. But how do you know which ones to buy? Why wouldn't I put 800 grand down? Why can't I do this myself?
Yeah. Well, number one, you got to have enough scale. Scale meaning numbers of units. My first real estate deal was a single family home. Everything was good. I was making $200 a month, about $175 a month in positive cash flow. It was all good until they moved out. So
that was a home?
It was a home. It was a single family home. So like some people, that's their, like my mom tried some residential real estate and she got hurt on it. My uncle did Section 8. He was every day having to be there, carry a gun, collect the money. And so the message to us was, look, this is a lot of work and a lot of trouble. When I realized that first single family home didn't work, I didn't throw it away and say, I'm never doing real estate again. That's what most people do. What I said was, oh, I bought the wrong kind of product.
Yeah.
My next deal would be 3 years later. And my next deal was 38 units. I went from 1 unit to 38 units. My second deal was 48 units. So in the interim, though, in those 3 years, Brad, what I was doing every day was looking at product. I lived in Houston, Texas. I probably looked at 100, 150. I thought that was a lot. We'll look at 100 deals this month.
How did you know to do it?
Because I knew I didn't know enough to do it, right? So I didn't know where to put it. So I'm like, I got to do a little homework here, right? So, hey, what is a good deal? What is a bad deal? What is a marginal deal? What pays? What are taxes costs?
Is that why I can't do it myself?
Well,
because I'll get burnt?
You can do it yourself. What you would do is you live in Vegas, so I'd say, okay, the first thing you got to do in Vegas is you got to take Vegas, and you probably got to take Vegas, the city of Vegas, and go from 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and 9 to 12. Okay, you got to tell me where's a good neighborhood in this city. Where is it?
Right now?
Yeah, 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, or like a clock.
3 to 6, there's some good neighborhoods.
Okay, good.
9 to 12, there's some good neighborhoods.
Okay, good. Okay, so now
6 to 9, there's some good neighborhoods.
Okay, good. So I need to know where do you
don't
live?
want to be 1 to 3.
Where do you? Good. So that's out. So I'm not looking at that. First thing you got to know is where you're not going.
Yeah, I live by the 6.
Okay, you live by the 6.
Little towards the 3.
So he's over here 6 to 3. This is a familiar neighborhood for him. This is where he should start. He should not start over here and not start over here. He should start where he is. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out who knows how many 16 to 32 unit deals are here, and I'm not looking at anything less than that. So number one, how many units? Can I find out who's got the listings? They're not online.
Yeah. The only thing around here are these huge complexes.
Good. So if you're going to go huge, 200 to 300 units, is this Summerlin? or Summerlin
no,
over
this
here?
this is like Henderson.
Okay, oh, Henderson. Okay, so 300 unit deals over here are going to cost.
Mike Tyson lives right there. The guy that founded eBay lives right there, and this whole
Good.
neighborhood's $1 million plus homes.
Everybody else is washing their cars,
But on
which
the-
are renters.
Yeah, but on the way up,
Yeah.
there's like beautiful apartment homes like on the way to
And
that.
that's what you're looking for. So
But they're huge. They got to be millions and
and that's where you
millions.
should start. Okay, we're going into Houston, Texas. I've never bought anything in Houston except 25 years ago when I did my first deal. My first deal, real deal in Houston is going to be $70 million.
Yeah, but you have to have credit
because I
for
want to go
$70
big.
million.
You got to have credit. You got to have equity. You got to have cash. You better have some freaking courage, and you better know what you're doing. Okay?
Well, I got one of those.
But I'm gonna tell you something. Like you have a better chance of making money in a big scale than you do a little deal.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just build?
Because number one, first of all, you can't plan where the economy is going to be. It's going to take you 2 years to build. Cost of materials, concrete, just a studio. What did it cost you to build a studio?
I don't know, $100,000.
Yeah. So I don't want to do that. Okay. I don't want to take the time to build. I want to buy something that's existing so that I can put my money in it, your money in it, and it's cash flowing next month. I want to buy an existing business, not a new one. So, like this deal right here, you said if there's 300 units here, you got to know, how do I find the brokers? Who are the connections? Will they talk to me? Will they return my phone calls? Okay. Do I even want that deal? Do I have the cash? That deal will take $15 million to buy. So watch. Rather than you buying 16 units on your own, we created Cardone Capital so you could go buy a $45 million deal right out the gate, accelerate your investment plan, have coverage in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. What's going to be worth more money? This or the 16?
The 16.
Yeah. The 16?
What will?
No, what's going to be worth more money? The 16 units or the
no.
300 unit
Yeah,
complex?
the big one.
Okay.
I
The
thought
one that's
that-
got
I
two or
thought-
three swimming pools and a gym and
Yeah.
we're providing people with a place to live. Because people ask me all the time, they're like, well, why don't I just buy a house and live in a house? Wouldn't it be better? You don't get the swimming pool. The reason so many people are moving into the rental thing right now is they're like, wait a minute, you have a swimming pool. You have 2 swimming pools in some cases. You have a big gym. You got a 90-inch TVs at these newer complexes. You have security. You have gates. You got
Clubhouse.
built-in social, big clubhouse, right? You can't get that in a smaller complex.
So the big deals that individuals can't necessarily afford, they drop money into Cardone
Capital.
And you go buy them as a collective
I'm
group.
buying them now
How
anyway.
many people
But-
can
but
be in
let me
that
just say
group,
one
though?
other
Wouldn't
thing.
that dilute my return? Because there's a million people in it?
The number of people in it, it could be me and you, or it could be me and you and 30 other people. It doesn't matter. Number one, you could be me, you, and my brother. It could be me, you, my brother, and 27 other people. It doesn't matter. The deal's the same. My deal is the same as the deal. A real estate deal is made on a pick. It's the pick. If you guys ever get a professional ball club here, right? It could be a big game changer.
You mean like the Raiders?
Yeah, exactly. If that ever actually happens, I know y'all been talking. It's a game changer, right?
Yeah, but they're coming. You know that.
No, I know they are. I'm just saying if it ever actually happens,
Yeah.
okay? I'm wondering if it's going to really happen. I know y'all have wanted it to happen for years, right? So it changes things, right? Like you can't do that a second time. They're not going to bring a second ball club in. What does that have to do with apartments, okay? Once we own that apartment, it doesn't matter if there's one owner or 27. When the money gets split up, okay, I'm looking for a return each month, a return each year on my investment, and then I'm looking for a double or a triple on the way out. So when we go to sell
That's when you
this,
sell it.
yeah,
Do you roll that into another one?
I could roll it into another one. I've rolled it. All my money's been rolled. So when I started in real estate, long before I met you, I started with, my first deal was, I guess I started with $300,000. That $300,000's worth a couple $100 million today, rolling.
Now, let
From
me ask
one
you
deal
this.
to the next
So let's
deal.
say
Yeah.
let's say I hand you a check. Okay.
Okay.
What do I got to know? What do I got to do?
You got to love real estate. You need to love real estate.
I do.
Yeah, you need to love it because I don't want you in the deal if you don't love it. You're like,
I just love a return.
So you don't care what it's in.
But I mean, I don't. Do I get to factor Do I get to put an opinion?
Yeah, sure you do. Look, because if you don't love real estate, why would you do it, right? So the people that invest with me love real estate. They love the idea that it's real, that they can drive up on it, that there's people there, that there's a business, they can see and touch something, right? They love real estate. Now, another guy that might love cryptocurrency. Okay, well, dude, if you love crypto, go invest in crypto, right? But I can't touch it. I can't feel it. I don't know what happens.
Well, I love return on investment, and I understand the real estate game.
Yeah.
But I don't like.
But you can get a return investing in AT&T stock.
Yeah, well, I guess I do love real estate because I love
good.
the idea of
Yeah.
throwing my money in, owning an
Yeah.
apartment building, and getting that positive
What
cash
you
flow.
need to
What do I need to do though?
You need to, number one, you don't have to have good credit.
So I don't have to go find apartments. Or
You don't
should
have to find it. I'm going to find it. By the way, you have no input into what we buy.
Yeah, so I just give you the money and basically get my return.
You write a check. You come into the fund. Okay. You own a percentage of that property just like I do. Okay. I'm in the deal. You're in the deal. And then what we do is we go pick that deal, buy that deal, manage that deal, and decide when to sell the deal. And you're along for the ride. You're a passive investor. You get a K1 just like I do. You get the write-off depreciation like I do, losses like I do.
And see, that's another benefit I think of going with Cardone Capital, is all those tricks.
Dude, I know.
You can maximize tax. What do you call them? Loopholes.
Yeah. Like I have made so many mistakes in real estate. I've been through 25 years. I've been through 3 different major economic cycles. The one mistake I have never made in real estate is lose money.
Well,
never. I have not lost money one time on one deal, not one penny, even through 2008 when all my buddies went busted up.
So tell me if this is accurate. I want you to correct me if this is accurate or not accurate.
Yeah.
So why you wouldn't buy a single family home is because the potential of it being vacant is higher. And when it's vacant,
right.
it's 100% vacant.
That's right.
So it's either occupied or it's vacant.
Yeah.
And if it's vacant, you not only have to make that payment, but you have to have any fixes, upkeeps, et cetera. Versus a multifamily or an apartment building, multifamily, it's not likely the entire building is going to be vacant.
Or burnt.
Or burnt.
Or robbed.
Yeah, so in other words,
or termited.
The home,
right?
Although some people have made money on single family homes, not lately, but in the history of the world. If someone moves out, you're sitting there now, you don't know if it's going to rent. The economy could take a crap.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with this property, and Lord knows, maybe you have 12.
I would add to that if you own a single family home and you have equity, you should sell that home right now, because we are at the top of the market of what residential property should bring. We are not at the top of the market of the kind of property that we buy,
right?
Which is focused on an $800 to $1,200 a month rent.
Well, the properties that you buy are cash flowing.
Yes.
A house doesn't cash flow.
Never. And even if your house did cash flow, and you love real estate, and you're like, I love the real estate game. I love the cash flow. I like 30 years. I don't mind waiting, right? Ooh, you want 1 unit or you want 300?
Well, that's the key.
Okay.
That's the part that I started thinking,
Yeah,
man, this is like a no-brainer, because
Yeah.
this house, when someone moves out, it's vacant. In an apartment, you have, let's say, 80 doors. It's highly unlikely that all 80 doors will be vacant. Almost impossible.
Yeah.
So
it's a good point, Brad, because what'll happen is, we had a guy say, I'm looking at 16 units. I said, look, my vacancy, the people that don't occupy, my vacancy on my property, one property, will be higher than your entire ownership. And I'll still make more money. Yeah. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, you're looking at 16 units. I'm looking at 500. We have this 507 unit deal in Houston. I said, if I have a 10% vacancy, I have 50 units available at all time. Your whole complex is 16. I'll have 3 times more vacancy than you have units.
Yeah.
And I will still make more money. By the way, going forward 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, when that property's worth more value, what's worth more money? 16 units or 500?
Well, 500.
Yeah, with a 2-acre park on the inside of it. It's like Central Park in Houston, Texas.
So it's more desirable.
Yeah. And this is the other thing about what we're doing, okay? You would be stuck to this clock, okay? And this is the point I was trying to make early on. In fact, you're going to be stuck to a neighborhood in the beginning. You can't move because your business is here. This is what you know. You know this neighborhood, this location, right? Not Las Vegas. You know what's going on. You know the ball club's coming in here, right? I get to go to Houston, Seattle, Arizona, California. I get to swing throughout the United States, and we go hunting down. Nashville, we're in. Savannah, Georgia. 4,000 units in Florida.
Well, if I'm in a fund that's only in a certain ones. That I don't
No,
pitch in on all of them.
No, but that fund could be in 2 deals, it could be in 4 deals. Like we're closing deals right now. We're in the process of closing deals, so that starts filling up the fund, Cardone Capital. But again, the fund is just the vehicle. You're still invested in the hard assets.
Well, that's what I like. So you got these units that are not likely to be empty. So even if the economy takes a dump and there is
Best
no
thing
equity,
that could happen to my property. Best thing that could happen to my property right now is that the stock market would drop 6,000 or 7,000 points, and that the economy would freaking roll over and get really slammed.
Well, even if it did, people still need a place to live.
That's why it would help me.
And well, if that happened,
Yeah.
more people need a place to live.
That's right.
But I'm thinking,
To rent.
I'm trying to think, well, where's the holes in this deal? What's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is economy takes a dump. Well, let's say the economy goes great, because that's when maybe you'd have some more vacancies, people buying homes and whatnot. So even if only half your building is rented, that rent pays the mortgage.
Well, we can't get to half. I mean, at about 82% on most of our properties, we could be 82% full and still pay the mortgage.
Still pay the mortgage, and then that mortgage is building equity.
And the expenses, and the roofs, and the carpets, and the paint, okay, and the property
if you ever need
taxes.
a place to live, you got an apartment.
That's why I didn't lose, exactly. Yeah, I knew you'd go there. So that's why we didn't lose anything in 2008, is because the properties produce enough income. We use what's called a worst case scenario investment. Like, hey, where do I break even on this deal? What if the world's like, it goes bad, terrible? Well, actually, things actually got better for us when things got terrible.
Well, my question would be like, well, if it's such a great deal,
Yeah.
why is someone selling you the property? Why wouldn't they just keep it?
Great question. For instance, I'm buying a deal right now where they have to sell the property because one of the heirs died. And it says in his will, you must sell this property when you die. So they're forced to sell. Another one is a fund, a REIT, that has to trade money every 7 years, so they have to dump out, okay? These are the last 2 assets in their REIT. We found out about it off market. I was in Houston shopping. I said, who owns that deal right there? So-and-so does.
How do you find that stuff out?
Because we're in the market every day. We're looking at 100 deals a month. We know who the players are. Like in every city, like if you called Vegas right now and said, what's on the market right now? You can't go look this up on the internet, okay? There's 2 or 3 guys in every city that run the city. I know the guy here in Vegas. I know the guy in Austin. I know the guy in San Antonio, the guy in Houston, the guy in Miami, the guy in Tampa, Orlando. These are all different people. And it's down to like 1 or 2 guys in every market that you have to have dinner with or go hunting with or put on your plane.
What about high, what do you call it when they move in and out? What's it called?
High turnover.
No, not turnover. Transient.
Yeah.
Transient towns.
Vegas is transient.
It's very transient.
Vegas,
Wouldn't
is
you
a
make
great
less
renter's
money?
town. This is a perfect ideal renter's town.
I know, but here's the problem with Vegas. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And again, I'm asking, even though it sounds like I'm telling. I would think that if a transient town you bought an apartment in, more people move in and out, and the more often you turn over tenants, doesn't that cost you more money?
Yeah, totally does. That's
you're
why.
Gonna have to
that's
clean
why
carpets. You're gonna have to fix walls
you get rid
more
of carpets.
often.
You get rid of carpets. For like 4 years, I've been telling my staff we have 150 people, 160 people on the ground. Get rid of the carpets. Go to wood. It's a synthetic wood now. Get rid of carpets everywhere. First floor, second floor, third floor. It looks better. It makes the apartment look bigger. And when they leave, dude, I don't need to clean the pee out of the freaking synthetic. So there's so many little tricks.
See, that's the reason.
Okay, here's another trick.
That people would benefit from
VIP
jumping with
parking.
you.
People will pay to park their car. Okay, here's the third trick. We are in the future, in the next 3 years, I guarantee you, I am going to get valet trash. You will not be able to take your trash to the freaking dump. Every one of my properties will be, you will get evicted for taking your garbage to the dumpster. I don't want you dragging your bag of shit across my property. I own this property. I want it looking good. You put it outside your door, 5 days a week, we'll pick it up for you. Who wants to pick up their trash anyway? And I'm going to charge you for that. Here's another thing we'll be charging for. That swimming pool. You want to use it? You're going to pay to use it.
Well, most of those places, they have ools.
Ools?
Yeah.
What is an ool?
An ool is like a pool with no pee in it.
Okay. I don't know about that, but
That's
I know
what that's what you want. You want an apartment building with an ool.
yeah. But look,
Because
look,
if they have a pool, that means there's pee in it.
yeah, okay. So I just know this. There's things, we are moving into a renter's market. When you and I grew up as kids, we wanted to own a home. That was a sign of like, you're grown up now. You own this. We wanted to own our car. Oh my God, I'm a grown up now, okay? That's not the world we live in today. Yeah. Not only do I want to lease my car today, I might not even own one. I'll just Uber over. And people, this thing it's got a 30, I'm telling you, it's got 30 years. We are in the best investment environment I have been in. I've been doing this 25 years. I have never been more bullish about the apartment space than I am right now.
And if I'm in the investment deal, am I an actual investor partner?
You're an investor, partner in the deal.
I'm a partner.
You file taxes.
Do I get your cell phone?
Exactly the way I do. Anybody can get my cell phone.
Come on.
Anybody can get my cell phone. Shit, it's on the internet.
So I want to be corrected here
Yeah,
because this to me sounds almost like a no-brainer, and I'm one of those guys that like look at the common sense of the matter. The common sense is you buy an apartment, obviously with scale is just going to be
Yeah.
a multiplier.
Yeah.
But forget that, just conceptually. You buy an apartment, you put X% down. That's all the
anywhere from 25 to 35% down in every deal, just to answer that
Yeah,
question.
so let's say there's a $100 million piece of property. You put $30 million
That's the size
down.
deals we look at.
Yeah, and you put $30 million down.
That's right.
Now, someone has to borrow the $70 million.
But by the way, let me just ask you this, because there's so many little pieces that you're walking past right now. If you take all of America, okay, and say, how many $100 million apartment complexes are in America? And then how many duplexes are in America? You can find millions and millions and millions of duplexes, 2 units, 4 units, right? How many $100 million complexes do you think are in America?
Not as many.
We're talking thousands.
Yeah.
Okay, which means what? Supply and demand. China's coming in, they're saying, hey, we want to buy this product. This is the way to own American real estate, get income, wait. They got long term, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, hey, maybe hundreds of years. The Japanese thinking hundreds. What are these properties going to be worth? Okay, so like I owned a property in San Diego. I paid $3 million for that piece of property. I owned it 22 years. I had taken $9 million out of the property, paid $3 million, to put 300 grand down. This is years ago. Bought the deal.
10% down?
No, I put 25% going in and then refinanced it really quickly because we got the rents up. Went back to the bank. They said, we'll give you more money. Had 300 grand into it. Then I went back a second time, got $1.5 million back. Went back another time, got anyway, I ended up like $9 million of cash out, not taxable
Yet.
Okay, took that money, threw it into more deals. This is when me and you met, actually.
turned it over.
And I was focused right then. I said, I can't do the light speed thing, dude, because I'm focused. And I was really focused at that time, right? I said, I'm creating wealth right now, Brad. Give me a second. Let me get through this little thing. And then in 2008, when the market went to shit, I said, okay, cool off here. Get your light speed shit together. Start making money again.
Now, if you could go back, do you regret cooling off? You should have pressed.
Oh, God, man, do I regret.
You should have pressed, huh?
I said I made a bunch of mistakes, okay? Look, well, I was too scared and I couldn't get deals done right then because the banks were folding up, right? But I should have never sold anything I ever bought. I should have bought more than I bought. I should own 10,000 units right now. I own 4,000. I should have never sold anything, but that helped me get, so there's a trade-off on some of that stuff, right? But hey, I've been paid every month while I waited. That deal that I owned for 22 years,
Cash flow.
okay, we refinanced that deal 3 or 4 times. We sold it for 4 times what I paid for it, and I hadn't had any money in it in 18 years.
Well, that's the part that just
And
blows my
I
mind.
did it all by myself. I should have done it with other people so other people could win, because if other people win, how do they feel about me? If I'm sending you a check every month,
Love it.
how much more do you like me?
Hey.
You want to make fans? Dude, send them checks every month.
So
People love me for the books I wrote. What would they think if I sent them $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month? I got a guy right now. He gets
clockwork, by the way, because I know people that invested in the deal. I haven't personally done it yet, but I'm going to. But I know people that have, and they say this shit's like clockwork. Every, I think the 17th.
They know when it's the 17th, right? My twin brother.
Bam.
Huh?
Bam. It shows up.
My twin brother, I think I can say this. One deal he does with me, his check last month was $18,370.
And guess what?
The deal you get is the exact deal
Yeah, but if he didn't give you the money, it would have been sitting in a bank. What would his check would have been? Nothing.
Well, he would have invested in something, probably most likely some stock that goes down in value, not up in value.
And it's way more risky, the stock market. I mean,
well, and the other
you're
thing is,
buying a piece of property where people need to live, and they're always going to need somewhere to live.
He's got a company he's running. He's running this company in London. He can't run his company in London, spend time with his 2 kids, and invest money in great deals in America.
Or even go look for them.
You don't have time. Nobody's got the time. So the people that are investing with us are accredited investors. You and I talked about what that means. And these are people, typically our accredited investor is somebody, the profile is, I think, Ryan, wouldn't you say, works for themselves?
Business owner.
$300,000 or $400,000 sitting in a bank dead, or some money sitting in a pension fund. We have people investing money with us. They're self-directing their IRA or their KEO because they're like, I want to get out of the stock market. The stock market's at historical highs. I don't think it can stay there. They want to get that money out of those paper assets into real assets.
So conceptually, if you're watching this, to me, I like to break stuff down for simplicity so the simplest thoughts can go towards that. Now, you put 30% down on a $100 million property. You have $30 million into that property.
Yeah.
The doors on a $100 million property, how many doors would there be?
On that deal, it'd be 800 to 1,000.
Okay, so let's say there's 1,000 doors,
Yeah.
and you're only getting 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So that's $1 million a month you're
Yeah.
collecting in rent.
12 million in
assuming
gross.
you're full capacity.
You wouldn't be.
Let's say
So-
you're not, you're 80%.
That's right.
So you're getting $800,000 a
10-8.
month. How much is the payment on a $70 million loan?
It'd be $4.2 million a year, fully amortized.
Which is about $400,000 a month.
Yeah.
$500,000 a month. So you're collecting $800,
yeah, $800,000.
and your
a month.
payments $500.
Yeah, but I got
That's
expenses.
300. I
got
know, but that's
expenses.
still. I'm just breaking it down to them. That's $300,000
Now, what you don't
in
know,
positive
though,
cash
that's
flow.
right, you're right, but
And
let me
that,
tell
we
you
haven't
what you
fixed a
don't know.
toilet yet or anything, but
No.
that's $300,000.
Yeah.
You put $30 million down, that's $300,000. That's 10%
Yeah.
return on investment just that month alone. I know you have expenses, but again, I'm keeping it simple
Yeah.
for everyone to follow me. And I'm trying to follow it myself.
Yeah, yeah.
So $300,000. Now let's say, hey, there's some toilets, there's some move-ins, there's some move-outs. So you spend $100,000, maintain it. You still netted a couple $100,000, or even $100,000, or even $50,000.
Yeah, just keep cutting it back.
So
Let's say you broke even in a month because you wanted to reinvest all the money and improve the property and put the wood floors in.
Well, this-
and get the valet trash going.
So you can get the rent up.
And
So
go
you
out
can
there
get
and
more than
spray
1,000
paint.
a door.
Hey, these are reserve parking. And by the way, the reserve parking is going to be $20 a month because people will pay $20 a month to reserve park. I'm proof of it when I go to the movie theater and I valet park my car and I give the guy $20.
Sure.
So even people that are broke will spend $20 for convenience.
yes, I like the valet trash thing.
Okay, valet trash, valet parking, pools. Okay, these are all ways to add value, particularly if you're buying nice properties. If you're buying scumbag properties, slumlord, dump properties, 2 units, 4 units, 8 units, the tenant gets so much better. Like, I don't want a brand new complex. Okay, we don't want to be the first people in a deal. So we don't buy fancy like that. But dude, does that property look good? The rents at that property are $1,200. I paid, what did I pay for that deal, Ryan? $32 million? $32 million. I put $10 million down in that deal. I've been in that deal 4 years.
How many doors?
That deal's got 282 units, called Aerium Trellis in Daytona, Florida. I had a buddy of mine, I said, dude, put some money in this deal with me. My brother, put money in this deal. He did. Jared Glant put money in that deal. That deal, I paid $32 million for. It pays me 20% a year, 19.4% a year on my $10 million. So that's $1.9 million. After all expenses. And that deal is worth, I've been in it 4 years. That deal, I just got an offer on $55 million for that deal.
Which is a 20 more million. Now,
I paid 32.
well, what?
I paid 32. It's worth 55. But what did I really pay? I only
10.
paid 10.
Yeah, you only paid 10.
10 is worth 32 to 55. 20. What is that? 23.
Yeah.
10's worth $33 million today.
Okay, so you got that 23. Let's pretend you had to get it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Does Jared and your brother and everybody split that 22 million?
Exactly. So when we dump out,
So it's like a no-brainer.
now I get a fee for that.
Oh well, sure.
Okay?
Someone had
I
to
get a
manage
fee
it.
for that.
Someone
but
had to manage it.
Hey, somebody had to sign on the loan.
Someone had to find it.
Okay, I go to Jared. Jared, I need you to get approved for a $22 million loan. You know, you can't get approved for that loan. I got that loan. By the way, the debt that I gave you on the $70 million, you said, what would it cost at $4.2 million? What you don't know is I'm going to go to Fannie Mae and say, hey, I want interest-only loans, okay, so that I can explode my cash flow in the first 3 to 4 or 5 years. So some deals we get 7 years of interest only, 5 years of interest only, 3 years depending on the deal. So I can get a lot of deals because I'm a preferred borrower. I'm getting a little too complicated right now.
And you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which would behoove like to have everything you know on my investments.
The biggest mistake
better
this
do you
guy's
get?
going to ever make in real estate is this: never doing a deal. Biggest mistake all of you are going to make is never doing a deal. The second mistake you're going to make is you do deals that are too small. I can give you a list of 100 people I've talked to that said, dude, I did it. It was too small. Okay. You lose money when the market goes bad, when the deals are too small. And the third thing that you'll make a mistake in doing is that you won't do it with somebody that already knows what they're doing, or you do it with somebody that has no money in the deal.
What if somebody has a lot of money and they just want to do it? Like, what if you've got a deal where it's you can put $10 million down and someone wants to give you the $10 million and have no other partners except you?
We're doing those deals.
But you can do those deals too. So you don't have to be in a big group fund. You can be in a private fund.
No, but you're not going to get in the select group fund without being in Cardone Capital. So like I got a guy right now, he's got 20 million he wants to do. I said, dude, I need you to put $1 million in Cardone Capital. I want you in my main fund. Okay, I've told you over and over how many times I want you in it because I want to tell people, hey, Brad Lee's my partner. You know, me and Brad been partners in Lightspeed for years. In our training platform, you know, and what we do, we talk about each other, we help each other. I want him to be an investor with me because he's got a good vibe about him, dude. The guy's a winner.
Well,
you know, I want winners. I want winners pulling for me. Elena's like, Grant, you need to do this fund and you need to go big on this fund because the more people you can get, dude, people go to sleep at night. They're like, thank you, God, for everything you've done. Thank you, Allah, for everything you've done. And hey, protect Grant. We want people praying over us, man, right? So, you know, I want you to do good because you're my partner, right? And you'd want me to do good. So it just makes sense. It's a survival mechanism, really.
And here's the cap in my opinion. Let's say 5 years goes by, you're collecting this money,
Yeah.
and then 5 years goes by, that's equity that you've just built in that building, right?
Well,
there's equity in the building. If the property value goes up,
the property
not only
value
do you
doesn't
get all
have-
that cash flow,
But everybody needs to understand this. The property value does not need to go up. Okay? The rents need to go up.
yeah.
All I need is rents to
But
go
the
up.
equity, what happens to
Well,
it?
if rents
you
go
got to
up-
be building it.
That's right, but different than a house. A house has to appreciate. Apartments don't appreciate the same way a house does.
It doesn't matter.
Rents go up. When rents go up, the value of the property gets pulled up regardless of what's going on in the economy around it.
Yeah, but when someone's paying that loan off,
Yeah.
that's equity to me. Am I wrong?
No, that's right. You're right.
So
No.
like when I get $1 million in rent, 300,000 of it's cash flow, 700,000 is expenses and the actual payment.
Yeah.
When I pay $700,000, I owe $700,000 less.
Yeah, that's right. That's
And
right.
then do that for 5 years, and all of a sudden I owe
So, like
$9 million on a $32 million
we
property.
bought a
That
deal.
equity.
I bought 900 units in Nashville. My first deal in Nashville was 800. How many units? 826 units. My first deal. That is what's called a fully amortized loan. I assumed the loan from a bank called PNC. I went in, took the loan over. I paid $5 million, $6 million, $7 million for 900, almost 900 units. The thing only cash flows like 7% a year, the whole portfolio, but it's paying off 2% of that 53 million every year. $1 million comes off that debt every year. In 10 years, I make 10 million. If I never make any money, I make 10 million because a bunch of people I don't know, renters, are paying down my debt.
They're paying down your debt. That was my point. Like
Yeah.
that's just
No, you're
that's
right.
that's the icing. It's like you can't. It's
Well,
almost like you can't lose. Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
if there's people out there watching this and they know people that have apartment buildings
Yeah.
that would somewhat qualify for something that you would look for,
Yeah.
how do they reach out and say?
If you know somebody that's got over 200 units in the top 15 markets in America, well, we're interested in them. But the problem with me is I don't want 200 units in any one city. I want 1,000 units. So like we're going to Houston. We'll close 1,000 units this year in Houston, Texas, in a core market. I'll become a player overnight. Overnight, every broker in Houston, Texas will know my name, my phone number. Look, if you don't have access to deals, you don't get deals. It's all about the deal. Real estate's never changed like that for 2,000 years. It's about the location. It's about the deal. And if you can't get the deal, you can't get the deal.
Sounds like a no-brainer. How many?
Well, I'd love to have you.
How many spots are there?
Well, when I'm done with this fund, it's about the deal. So again, it's about the deal. So like this Sunday night, we're in Vegas. We're doing a party, a dinner. It's not really a dinner. It's hors d'oeuvres, and I don't even know how to spell hors d'oeuvres. That's why I always say dinner. Hors d'oeuvres and drinks at the foundation room. You're the one who told me to pick the foundation room.
Nice
so
spot up there.
And it's going to be from 7 to 10. So if you're an accredited investor, you want to reach out to Ryan, 212-515-3772. And he'll get you put on the list. I know you guys are going to be there.
Yeah. So here's my final question.
Yeah.
Why don't you just do it yourself? Why do you want everybody's money in the deal?
Well, I own 4,000 apartments right now. So if you do the math like you were doing earlier, our average rent's about $1,100. 4,000 times 1,100, it's $4.4 million a month. Okay. Before late checks, late fees, credit checks,
Bounce checks?
but like you guys see me flying around in a jet. That's not because of the light speed business I do. It's not because of the books I sell. It's because of my real estate. So for 25 years, I have quietly been accumulating real estate. And that business has created tremendous freedom for me. Now, so what I want to do now is I want to help other people get in this game. And I want to help you avoid mistakes of buying too few units. Number one. Number two, I want to scale my business. I want to go from 4,000 to 40,000 units. I want to 10x my holdings. I cannot do that without other people. So when he comes in and you come in, and your mom, your dad, your uncle, your aunt, look, I'm already making money on those first 4,000. I don't need to rip anybody off. I don't need to cheat you, steal from you, skim from you.
So it gives you scalability.
It gives me scalability. It solves a problem I have. It allows me to scale, and I get to help you in the process. And the ultimate play for me, between me and you, you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going. When I go from 4,000 to 40,000, if I'm thinking about that many units, I'm thinking about a bigger play here.
Are you ever going to build them?
No.
You'll never build them?
I'll never build. I ever build here, you'll be like, dude, you said you would never build.
Yeah, because eventually you'd just run out of apartments to own. You'd own all the apartments.
No. There's 40,000. I would be in the top 10 real estate firms in America at 40,000 units. There's guys that own 200,000 units.
How often did my check come?
Every month.
Every month my check.
As long as I can write me a check, I'm writing you a check.
What if you don't write yourself a check?
Well, let's say the hurricane was really bad, right? We had $70,000 worth of losses in Florida. So we're going to have a little dam across how many units? 3,000 units. So what is that a loss? So the checks are going to be like $20 a month less per unit because of the loss from the hurricane. But you have hurricanes. I mean, you have problems. There's things that do happen.
Is there ever going to be a time where my check don't show up?
Could be. I mean, I guess if there was, if Rocket Man went fucking crazy and shut down the internet and you couldn't write it, my renters can't pay me, and there was another Equifax.
So it's not likely. It can happen. I mean, obviously anything can happen.
I'll tell you that property I told you about that I refinanced 4 times, that I owned 22 years. There was one 7-month period, 7 months out of 22 years that I wasn't able to pay myself. We took the money.
That's just 1 month.
No, there was 7 months. We took the money for 7 months, reinvested it in the property, rehabbed the place, and my freaking rents exploded.
Yeah, but that was an investment.
That's right. That's right.
You still got money. You just decided to put it back in.
That's right. And by the way, I didn't call the investors and say, hey, I'm doing this. Are you guys good with it? So don't expect me to ever call you and say, we're changing the color of the paint, Brad. We'd like your input.
I don't think, I like the idea that you don't call me. I don't need to do anything. I can hand you money, know that it's safe in real estate, and get paid every month.
And some guys want to learn about it, though. Some guys different than you. Like, I got a friend of mine, Howard. He's like, hey, man, I'll invest with you, but I want to learn the game.
Well, don't you think they want to learn so they can do it themselves, too?
Dude, I got a guy that owns 1,000 units. His wife said, Bobby, you're an idiot, because he's got this other business that can make him a lot more money. He's like, Bobby, you need to invest with Grant and quit trying to play the real estate game. because we're out looking at. I've already built the infrastructure out. Let's go fly, man.
Does that look like anything like yours?
Yeah, a little,
Oh, like that.
a little smaller.
So let me ask you this: if you're not in Cardone Capital already, where do they go? What do they
Go to
do?
cardonecapital.com, or you can text Ryan at 212-515
3772.
3772. You can ask your questions. If you're accredited, you can come in. You can. If you're not
What's my
accredited,
minimum?
100 grand. Average
if I'm
person.
scared.
Average person's doing 450, but you can come in at 100. Once you come in at 100, you can come in on a monthly if you want to, like 5,000 a month. So whatever you want to do, we want you in, and we want you in for life. Our target, our goal for every investor is $1 million.
Well, if I'm in for life, then I'll just never get the money back.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you get the money back? You're going to get the money back. I'm
You
going to sell
mean the cash flow? Cash flow.
You're going to get cash flow, but you're also going to get a big distribution when we sell the property. We will sell the property. It's not for life. You'll come back in with your funds again. So my goal is to get you a 200%, 160 to 200% return, and I'm not surprised if I give you a 300% return. So we sell. The only way you get that is we sell.
How long do you think that'd take?
It could take 3 years. It could take 10 years.
And what's the interest? I mean,
Howard,
what's the average?
who was it? Howard.
Howard.
He gave me 300. I gave him 900 grand back in 19 months. He was like shocked. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I sold the property. Here's your check for 900."
What kind of interest rates are bank paying right now for T-bills and Treasury bonds?
The banks, today's bank rate, national average was 0.012.
And what's your average fund return?
That's
I
part of
saw a
1%.
screen that said like IRR was 12.
Yeah,
Pull-
13.4.
Is that
It was
screen?
13.4. So our average internal rate of return has been over 22%. Okay, our target for this fund is 15. That's our advertised target. I've never done 15.
You've done more.
Always.
So 15% return on my investment.
Compared
so if
to
it does
a half-
15, I do 15.
That's right.
And then I'm also building equity.
You're building equity. You're getting off.
So what's the
You're getting the
catch?
write-offs.
What's the catch, Ryan? There's got to be a catch.
Yeah.
What's the catch?
The catch is you don't do it.
Yeah, the catch is you miss the opportunity.
You keep working your ass off, and you never.
The catch is you don't believe it and you're scared and you just watch everyone make money for
Dude,
so long. And
I
you're
have
like,
my brother in the deal, my sister's in the deal. My sister's 68 years old. I had my sister, 68 years old. What kind of man would tell? What kind of young brother would say, Diane, I want to dump your entire pension fund. There's another person who did the pension fund. I want to take all your cash reserves, 100% of your cash reserves. She doesn't have a job. Good girl. I want you to put all of it in my deals.
is this kind of like a hedge fund?
It's not a hedge fund. We're not a hedge fund. We're a completely invested fund. We got no hedge. I mean, you tell me, you give me one situation that can happen on planet Earth that would hurt $1,100 a month rents. Short
It
of
would hurt it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone always needs a place to live,
Exactly.
and the $1,100 a month rent is where you want to be.
Exactly. They're not $4,000 rents. Okay. Economy. If the economy gets worse, $1,100 it still works. Okay. It's not government subsidized. These aren't $400 a month rents, because if the government goes broke, all that Section 8 stuff. First of all, you got to carry a gun there. We don't want to do that. I don't want to carry a gun to my property.
Well, dude, you have garbage valet. That sounds pretty fancy.
No, it's not fancy though. It's not fancy. This is all middle of the
Sounds
road
nice.
stuff. It is nice. These are nice properties. This is not junk.
What was it you said something about?
And you don't want junk, by the way. You don't want junk, because if it's junk today, you cannot make junk something nice. People pay junk prices for junk.
And how long have you been doing this? I know you were doing it when I
I've been
met
doing
you.
this since I was 31 years old.
So 20,
Almost 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
And just think about it, folks. How much experience do you get when you, like, again, when I started this company, Lightspeed,
Yeah.
or my company, I learned so much in 10 years, and I've learned so much in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
I could
yeah,
start
yeah,
over,
yeah.
I said one time, if I could start over, it wouldn't take me 17 years. It'd take me 17 months from
Yeah.
what I've learned.
Yeah.
You've been doing real estate for so long, you know all the tricks, and I can benefit.
Well, I don't
from
know
it.
all the tricks. I mean, we learn new stuff.
I know you know
but,
tax
but,
tricks.
But I know people that can teach me things. Like I was in a city recently. I'm not going to mention what city, but the guy was breaking up like that quadrant thing I did with you. He showed me some changes in the quadrants that I had missed. He showed me something about hospitals that was like mind-boggling. I was like, oh my God, dude, I got to be next to hospitals. Governments do not get rid of hospitals. I don't care what happens. They don't get rid of them. So if you can follow hospitals, you're going to make money. If you can go big enough and pick the right part of the block and manage the deal and have good customer service. I mean, it still comes down to like who's answering the phones, who's standing up when they walk in the leasing office, okay? Who treats people right.
Do you go talk, do you train them and
yeah.
teach them?
Yeah, yeah.
I saw you on the phone the other day where the dude was basically
That was a
answering
woman.
the phone.
Yeah.
That was not a woman.
Yes, it was. Lucy.
Sounded like a dude that was just blowing the whole call.
Anyway, thanks for doing this interview with me. I appreciate you,
thank you.
making more people aware of what we're doing there, and I'd love to help more people do it. So I've got a lot of my car dealer friends that when we opened the fund up, this guy called us up and said, look, I've never bought any of your training. I didn't do your Lightspeed thing. I hadn't bought any of your books. You know, your Cardone group tried to come down and sell us a deal, and we didn't do it. But I want to put money in your real estate fund. I said, why? He's like, because I've seen you for 25 years. I think you're a winner. But he doesn't want my training.
Well, that's. It seems.
Then he bought the training after he invested with us.
Well, it just
So
seems like a
there's
no-brainer.
yeah.
Like this right here, Cardone Capital. I think that's what makes you the Billy Killer. I think that's what's going to bring you over to the top.
Elena thinks the same thing. So
Elena knows.
Elena knows
Elena's magic.
So anyway, if you want to invest with us, CardoneCapital.com, CardoneCapital.com. If you're not ready yet, you can still go there and see the deals. We'll help you learn to buy your first deal. Every Monday we do a show. I want to get you in this game. I want to make sure, even if you're not ready yet, I want to make sure you avoid the mistakes.
When are you coming out with a course on this?
Probably in February.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, hey, I had fun. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I don't know if you call it join or throw money in at your mom's house. I'm going to be over there tomorrow. I'll get it when I wake up. However, I'm going to be in the deal. I don't know if I'm going to go in for the minimum or what. I got to do some thinking. But listen, it sounds like a no-brainer, and I'm glad you're out there doing it. And if anybody doesn't do it, I think they're probably either A, ineligible, or B, they don't understand something. If someone doesn't understand something, even after this, who should they call? What should they do? How do you get
Ryan
people?
Secco, 212.
Call Ryan so you can get the comfort
515.
because most.
3772.
Well, you know what-
if
you
you
know what
need to
happens.
ask Brian a lot of questions, like you're probably not ready. Like if it's like,
Well, people get scared. I mean, you know,
I know, but then
100 or $2,000, you know, it's a scary thing. So
Yeah.
if this didn't satisfy you, maybe they got a few questions that this didn't answer. So I'd just say call Ryan.
come see. Let me show you the deals we're looking at.
There's
okay?
a lot of smart people doing it.
Yeah.
I've known this guy for a long time. I've watched his net worth grow. Ridiculous, by the way.
This guy.
It's all-
this guy, like no other, but like 99% of all people. Brad has watched me. I spent a lot of time with him. Hey, Brad, I'm going to do this. You know, remember the CNBC ad I talked about?
Yep.
And you're like, yeah. I could tell in the beginning, you're like, yeah, I've heard this bullshit before. Dude, everything I've ever told this guy, I have done. And a little more.
And a little more. But no, it's impressive, and I can promise you this. You're going to hit the Billy in real estate. I know that for a fact. Last question. I know it's getting late, but last question. Where does it end? Like, in other words, am I going in on a property? Are you making a bunch of funds per property?
No, you're gonna be in more than one property.
Can I give you money to where I'm just into that and whatever that
you can do that.
owns,
You can do that.
I'm a piece of?
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. But those are big deals. Okay, those are like, I got a buddy. It's like he's like, I want to put $1 million in your Cardone Capital. He understands the gig.
Can I buy any shares in
And I
Cardone
want
Capital?
that you basically have.
No,
a
I
share.
mean like shares of Cardone Capital.
No, not
Because
yet.
Cardone
Not
Capital is
yet.
making
Not
money
yet.
also. How do
Oh.
I get a piece of that
No,
money?
that's negligible money. That's
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Dude, because watch what happens. Okay, let's say I go buy 1,000 units, and it's negligible. We make 1.5 points. Like we make nothing. Like it's. I
yeah,
spend
but
everything.
by volume, Cardone Capital one day could make $1 billion,
From
which is
4,000
negligible.
Yeah, I own 4,000 units now. The next probably 6,000. We don't make really, like it's a negligible amount of money that we make. It's once I get to 10, 15, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, that's when it starts getting juicy.
Yeah, so how do I get
On the other end, okay, but the real play for me is not there. The real play for me is to go to Blackstone and say, look what I have here.
I'm going to start up a company that like does something for apartment buildings because I'm going to know
Yeah.
who owns a bunch of them.
Yeah. And I want you guys to be with me. So let's go play.
Come on. What are you waiting on? Cash flow, folks. I don't know how to open and close this because
Hey, Brad, thanks for doing the interview, man, and thank you guys. If you got a question, hit up Ryan Secco at Ryan at CardoneCapital.com. 212 515 3772.
Now, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Go back to promoting your Cardone University a little more.
I will.
Come on, man. It's too much real estate.
I will.
Game.
Dude.
I got to get in. I got to get in so I can benefit.
Let me just
from,
tell you,
from his promotion.
Our Cardone University sales have gone up as a result of me promoting Cardone Capital.
But you're spending a lot of time with it, my man.
And
I need you to focus right back on the old VT.
Dude.
Or I need to get in the fund.
I'll tell you a story. Tuesday, are we still running?
Yeah, we're still
Tuesday, I'm doing a presentation for a big group, $5 billion sales a year. We get done with the meeting. He loves it. He shows me his creative. He shows me his social. He shows me he showed me around. And then the last thing he showed me was what?
his family office.
His family office, where they have $158 million in cash today. And he's like, tell me about what you're doing at Cardone Capital. Trust me, Cardone Capital is going to push more people back to the books, the audio programs, and Cardone University. Trust me.
Good job. Good man. Good man. My good man.
Thank you guys for watching. Are you an accredited investor with $350,000 in the bank, liquid, earning less than 0.5%? Hey, my name's Grant Cardone. I started with $350,000 years ago investing in multifamily income-producing real estate, and today that real estate is worth over $550 million. That's right, over $500 million that pays me every single month returns of 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20, and even 25%. I want you to come partner with me at CardoneCapital.com. If you love real estate, you like passive income, you like positive cash flow, if you like appreciation over long periods of time, if you're willing to be patient, let me go to work for you. Come invest with me, CardoneCapital.com/invest now. This is only accredited investors, $350,000 liquid in the banks. Come invest with me now at CardoneCapital.com/invest now.